Okay, number 1. Colin's rectangular garden has an area of 180 square feet. If the length of the balcony is 12 feet, what is the width of the garden? So I'm going to start with my formula for area, which is length times width. Okay, I know the area is 180, and I know that the length of the balcony is 12 feet. Length, I should say garden, I'm assuming. Anyway, so basically I need to know that 12 times something is going to equal 180. So how can I do kind of the opposite to find out what W would be? Bella? I could do 180 divided by 12. 12 goes into 18 once, and I would get a remainder of 6. 12 goes into 60 5 times, so the width would be 15 feet. Okay, make sure y'all can see that. Number 2, Annie wanted to paint one wall in her office. She did not paint the window. What is the area of the wall that will be painted? So I need to, this is kind of the shaded region, right? I need to find the area of the wall, and I need to subtract the area of the window. So area of the wall, it's going to be length times width, which is 30 times 17, which I believe is a total of 510 feet squared. Okay, and then the area of the window is going to be 5 times 2, which is 10 feet squared. So the area that she painted would be 510 minus 10, which would be 500 feet squared. Yes, Katie? I would always show steps in the CBA because I can give you partial credit if I know what you're doing. Okay. Number 3, there are 800 seconds in 10 minutes. Which of the following proportions can be used to find t, the number of seconds in 12 minutes? First of all, there's not 800 seconds in 10 minutes, so that's one of those incorrect little thingies. But if we're just setting up a proportion, we can set it up using our word ratio. But just so you know, there's not 800 seconds in 10 minutes. So I'm going to do seconds to minutes, okay, and I have 800 seconds for 10 minutes, okay, and I want to know how many seconds are in 12 minutes, okay. Now the nice thing about proportions when you do them like this, and I would go ahead and cover up your answers first, because you may not have an answer choice that looks exactly like the way you set it up. But the way that proportions work is if you set it up and then you turn your paper, it's going to create 4 different proportions, but they're all correct. So if I have my paper like this, obviously 800 over 10 is equal to t over 12. That's correct. If I turn my paper like this, now I see the proportion. You would read it 10 over 12 is equal to 800 over t. Do you see that? Okay, that's also correct. I can turn it this way, okay, and I know it's upside down, but you would read it as 12 over t is equal to 10 over 800. And I can turn it finally this way and say, okay, well, t over 800 is equal to 12 over 10. Right? All of those are correct ways to write this proportion. Okay, so when I come and look at my answer choices now, I can see, okay, 800 over 10, which I have, is equal to 12 over t. Well, is that equal? No, because it would have to be t over 12. I can't have 12 over t if I have 800 over 10. So that one's out. 10 over t, well, at any point when I turned my paper, did I ever have 10 over t? No, so that cannot be an answer choice. Okay, 10 over 800. Well, that was an answer choice, right? When I flipped it, is 12 over t. Okay, well, if I flip it again so I can see it, and I have 10 over 800, is it equal to 12 over t? Yes, so C works so far. So I'm going to check that. And then 10 over 12, which I did when I turned my paper this way, right? 10 over 12 is equal to t over 800. Well, 10 over 12, is it equal to t over 800? No, it's equal to 800 over t. Okay, so that one would not be correct. So my correct answer would be C. Okay? Just kind of a nice little trick for when you get confused. Questions on 1 through 3? No? Number 4. Ashley was making fruit juices and noticed the following measurements would be needed. This is one of those that's an error on yours. I believe it was 9 to 1, and it's been changed to 8 to 1. Okay, because there's 8 ounces in a cup, not 9 ounces in a cup. Alright, but when we look, you notice that there's 8 in between each one. It's like our sequences that we used to do. So if I multiply 8 times 1, I would get 8. 8 times 2, 16. 8 times 3, 24. 8 times 4, 32. So I need to multiply 8 by the number of cups I have to get the number of ounces. So I have, in C, 8 times C equals S. Yes, ma'am. already addressed that. Number 5, Michelle is planning to make a ceramic vase. The length of the vase is 13 inches. The width of the vase is 6 inches. If Michelle decides to make the vase 7 inches tall, what would the volume of the vase be? Okay, so it's going to be... that's not very good. Okay. So roughly like that. So it's 13 by 6 by 7. So volume equals area of the base times the height. The area of the base is going to be base times height. So 13 times 6 times 7, right? And the volume, we've got to do 13 times 6 first. So 10 and 3 times 6, that's 60, 18, so that's 78, correct? And then 70 and 8 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49 with a 0. 7 times 8 is 56. So 6, 546 cubic inches, which is B. It's partial products. It's a lot easier. For a lot of people, it makes a lot more sense to do partial products than anything else. I'm going to change pens. Number 6. Each centimeter on the scale drawing represents 3 inches. Which of the following is the closest to the perimeter of triangle ABC? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make this 21. I'm going to go ahead and make this 18, just because I know 18 is divisible by 3. And because these two angles are equal, it means these two sides are equal, because this is an isosceles triangle, so this would be 18 also. 18 divided by 3 is what? 6, so that's how many inches it's going to be. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 7 is 21. That's going to be roughly 20. And I know that y'all had different answer choices, and that's okay, but I think for y'all it would have been 22. Okay, that would have been the closest. Yes, Mason? And I think y'all had centimeters on yours, correct? Just know that you need to divide by 3 on this. Okay? Not multiplied. You need to divide. I know, it's not worded well. It's not, remember we talked about there were some errors. This was one of them. Okay? Alright, can I go to the back? And this is not a grade, guys. We're just doing it for review. Number 7, during lunch, baby Sarah threw 1.5 cups of milk. That evening, Sarah knocked over 10 ounces of apple juice. How much liquid did Sarah lose altogether? Okay, my answers are all in cups, so I'm going to go ahead and keep 1.5 cups. And then 10 ounces would be 1 cup with 2 ounces left over, right? Which is 2 out of 8, which would be 1 1/4, which is equal to 1.25. So it would be 2 7/5 cups, which is the same as 2 3/4. Number 8, Emily and her friends put together different pieces of furniture to make a fort. The fort is shown below. Emily and her friends measured the side lengths of the fort before securing them together. What is the area of the fort that Emily and her friends made? Yes, I would expect you to show 3 steps on here, but since we're pressed for time, I'm going to go ahead and shortcut it a little bit, okay, and say that the area of this would be the length times the width. 20 times 12 is 240 feet squared. Okay, 12 times 12 is 144 feet squared. And then for the triangle, it would be 1/2 of the base times the height, which I can just take 1/2 of 12, which is 6, and 6 times 13 is 78 feet squared. Okay, so then I would need to add together those 3 numbers. And when I add 78, 144, and 240, I should get 462 feet squared. Questions? How did we do on that one? Pretty good? Okay, it's going to be simply, guys, taking the different shapes and then finding the area of all of them and adding them together. Okay? Which statement, number 9, which statement about a circle is false? A, the length of 3 diameters will be a little over the length of the circumference. That's true. The length of 2 radii is equivalent to the length of 1 diameter. That's true. The circumference is about 3 times greater than the radius. That's false. What should it be? It would be 6 times greater. The radius is half as long as the diameter. That's true, so our answer would be C. Okay. Number 10, this is another one I believe had an error. Okay, to solve this one, I need to look between my side length and my perimeter. Okay, and if you did 6 times what would you get 54? 7 times 9 is 63. 9 times 9 is 81. So based on this sequence, the correct answer would be A. The reason this one has an error is because it talks about a hexagon, and a hexagon has how many sides? 6. So would it make sense to multiply by 9? Not really. Number 11, which scenario best explains the pattern in the table below? Okay, so I have an input and an output. I'm going to go ahead and look for the pattern in between. Between 12 and 20, there's how many? 8, 20 and 28. 28 and 36. 8. So, remember, that's always usually what we multiply by our n. So, 8 times 3 is what? 24. I'm looking at this the wrong way. I'm sorry. 3 over 12 is simplified to what? 5 over 20 is simplified to what? 7 over 28 is simplified to what? 9 over 36 is simplified to what? So, the data is proportional as the output increases by the same amount each time. Well, that's true. The data is proportional because the ratio of the output to the input amount is the same each time. That's true, but that's also a better explanation. Okay? The data is proportional because the input increases by the same amount each time. I guess technically that's true, but it's not really a great explanation as to why we're getting what we're getting. Or the data is not proportional. Well, we know that that's not true. So I would choose B as the best answer for that table. Okay, for this one, Eric is arranging bricks around the edge of a rectangular surface. The surface is 15 3/4 centimeters long and 12 1/2 centimeters wide. Which expression cannot be used to find P, the perimeter, to go around it? So we know that we're going to have to do 15 3/4 times 2, right? Plus 12 1/2 times 2. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and start looking at answers. 15 3/4, 15 3/4. Well, that would be 15 3/4 times 2. 12 1/2, 12 1/2. That would be 12 1/2 times 2. So that works. 2 times 15 3/4 plus 12 1/2. Well, that works. 2 times 15 3/4 plus 2 times 12 1/2. That's what I just did. 2 times 15 3/4 times 2 times 12 1/2. This right here, we don't want to multiply them. We want to add them. So that would be our incorrect answer. Okay, for our proportions, 80 ounces, how many cups is that? Oh dear. There's 8 ounces in 1 cup, and if I have 80 ounces, how many cups would that be? 8 times 10 times 10, so this would be 10 cups. Okay, 108 inches is how many yards? 3, very good. 6 cups is how many ounces? 48, because you do 6 times 8 to get 48. And 9 pints is how many cups? 18, because there are 2 cups in 1 pint. Very good. 17, in the morning, Jake drank 2.5 cups of orange juice. For lunch, he drank 24 ounces of milk. About how many cups of liquid did he drink? 24 ounces equal to how many cups? There's 8 ounces in 1 cup. I have 24 ounces. 8 times 3 is 24, so that's 3 cups. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3 cups. 3 cups plus 2.5 cups is equal to what? 5.5 cups, which would be C. Questions on that page? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording, and then I will put up a part 2 of the video with the rest of the questions.